All right, guys. Good afternoon. We Today we actually uploaded a video of University of District of Columbia. Go into more details about that HBCU and the DC area. We're uploading these videos as quick as we can to give you guys as much information as possible about some of the opportunities that are available at some of these colleges. As always, please do your own due diligence, do your own research. Remember to look at internationalstudents.com to see what scholarships are available. Check with your local government, your city, your state, wherever you're at. But there's always money out there. You just got to figure out which way to go at it. So we're looking at UDC again today for short, University of District of Columbia. We'll go into more details later on about that. And the good thing is that all the areas that we're touching at, we're looking at schools that you can actually get into. I mean, these aren't schools that have low acceptance rates. I mean, some of them have 50% acceptance rates or more. The more selective schools, of course, a bit hard to get into. But that doesn't mean that you still can't go to a good school and get a good education just because it's not in the top 10 universities of America. So I wouldn't really listen to everybody talking about ranking and whatnot. Trust me, been there, done that. Get to a good school, get the grades, get good grades, and you're going to be okay. Check this video out. Let me know how you feel at the end of it, and then we'll see you when we're done. Okay, today we're going to look at another school in Washington, D.C., a school actually in Washington, D.C. I'm actually trying to knock out all the D.C. schools within this week. I know some of the bigger schools you've heard of are Howard University, Catholic University, Gallaudet, American, GW. There are plenty of good universities in the DC area, plus not to mention Maryland College Park, George Mason over the bridge, Virginia. We have quite a few good schools there. Bowie State, Morgan State, a little bit up the road, but still close. And we're going to go into some of these schools here. All right. Now, today, very small school, HBCU, Historically Black College University. Remember, we went over that before. We have a class coming on that soon as well. What is a HBCU, a Historically Black College University? And are these schools that you could possibly get into? All right. Remember that the HBCUs sometimes are a bit more lenient in their admission process. Of course, everyone is the same. But one thing I can say from being an HBCU alum is that they really care about you, all the students of all races. I've seen them. And that's the experience that I've had. I've had a great experience at the Historically Black College University. All right. Um, when you see kids that went and adults that went to HBCUs, and when they meet each other, you see they could talk for hours and they have a lot in common. This is something special. Today, we're going into the University of the District of Columbia. All right. UDC for short. Okay. Small campus, 3,233 students. Actually, we're looking at the athletic division two. Admissions rate is 57%, and the application deadline is rolling. It's a rolling application deadline. All right, $35 application fee. All right. Um, One thing about this college is that it is in the middle of Washington, D.C. So, like I said, if you don't have a car, you don't have to worry about it. And this is pretty much good for international students. Now, Washington, D.C. is a very, international, maybe not the city, but just the whole area. A lot of government buildings, a lot of different things going on there. So, it is definitely a place that you'll find a lot of diversity. You'll find everything that you need right there. All right. And with the acceptance rate of 57%, I mean, you're almost pretty much sure to get into it. um, the cost, let's look at the cost and the financial aid. Now the cost is 8,516 for in-state tuition and fees. Out-of-state tuition and fees, we're looking at about 17,000, $17,060. All right. um, Now, UDC's campus accommodation seems to be changing back and forth. They house about approximately 500 students. A lot of students kind of a lot of kind of commute there because a lot of residents are from DC, and DC's only but so big. So of course, the majority of residents do transfer. I mean, do transfer, do commute, and and there are a lot of off campus housing as well there. But the housing accommodations on campus, I think, houses like around 500 students. Now, mind you, this changes sometimes weekly, sometimes daily. So, of course, the information I get, you always want to do your due diligence and go through to see that if it's correct. Because, right now I'm kind of going off on what is apparent now. Tomorrow, it might be something different. All right. Um, Now, what we'll do now, we'll go directly to the site. Oh, let's look at some of the District of Columbia majors that you'll see for the 2021 graduates. Now, mind you, that was smack dead in the middle of the pandemic, so things were a little bit different then. But let's look here. You have business administration, management and operations, political science and government, 5%, education, 4%, liberal arts, general studies, 4%, computer information technology, 4%. All right, these are the biggest ones here. Then we have accounting and law, computer science, criminal justice. All right. Now, another thing about UDC about the international students. Remember, international students have to go to pursue a major. You can't go there just saying I'm taking a couple of courses. You have to pursue a major. All right. Now, they mentioned what we do. You know how we do. We go directly to international students and figure out what is needed for them. So an international applicant should complete one of the applications if you are seeking associate's, bachelor's, graduate, doctoral degree, a foreign national who has non-immigrant visa status in the USA, a pending permanent resident. All right. So if you look on their site, if you look at the international applicants area, they'll tell you everything that you need for you to get in there. Now, um, even though that the deadlines are for the fall, April 15th, and spring, September 15th, I recommend for international students apply earlier. Please do not wait to April 15th to apply because April 15th, to be honest, the staff, they're all going on vacation. They're all looking to get out of there. So you want to get that stuff in now. So let's say if you're looking for next year, I mean, I would say August, September, let's get these applications in so maybe you can get some answers. All right. If you are pretty much, if you are a strong student, then UDC is probably like going to be one of your safety schools, one of the schools you could almost absolutely get into. Another good thing about UDC is that UDC, as we call it for short, does have a law school. So after your undergrad, if you want to go to law school, they have a law school which pretty much focuses on like human service and leadership, and it's pretty it's a pretty good school from what I hear, and it's when it's making some change and doing a lot of things, a lot of good civil service activities for the community. All right. So that's looking at for international students. An international there's actually an international office here at the school. So for example, we're gonna go right here real quick. Look at ISS services. Uh, Talks about the services they have, and what they and what you could like who you could contact for it. So look at the ISS services here, um, and let's see what else they have here. Gives more information about current international students, um, international staff, um, about ISS. It gives you a bit information more about what they do. So there's quite a bit of not exactly sure how many international students there are, but I do know several international students who have gone there from the Middle East, Africa, etc. Now, UDC is probably not as known because, like I said, this school is younger than me. It started in 1976. All right, so it's a newer university as opposed to some of the other universities, which are sometimes up to 100 to 200 years old. All right. So it's a very young university. And with it being young, a lot of people simply don't know. about it, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. All right. In terms of ranking, we're not seeing too much in ranking. I didn't really get one from U.S. News. You could also go and look at alumni and see who went there. Now, application, like I said, you know what I always say: apply online for these schools. Do not try to mail in an application. All right. Apply online. All right. Um, Remember, the complete package must be done. All right. Now, remember, another thing is UDC does not take part. As of right now, I did not see UDC in the common application. I did not see it in the common application. All right. So you're going to have to apply directly on their site. The fee is $35. If you don't have the money, I'd give them a call and say, hey, listen, I don't have it. But if you don't have $35 to apply to, to international school, I'm wondering how's your money going to be when you leave your country and go to America. I'm just saying. I mean, if you want to get a fee waiver, that's perfectly fine. But you understand that these fees do add up. If you want to know more about Washington D.C., hey, Wikipedia and Google is your friend. And I say this for any place that you decide to go to, look at where it is and research the city, research the area. What else is around there? All right. Most people, we understand Washington, D.C. as the nation's capital, but what do they have to offer? Okay. Washington, D.C. has many different neighborhoods. They have a lot of activities to do, nightlife, museums, things like that. Like any other city, there is some crime in Washington D.C. It's not crime free, definitely. So there are some dangerous areas there that you have to be mindful of. But as for the most part, if you take some precaution on how you move and where you live, then hopefully you'll be okay. All right. And if you go to Wikipedia, they give you a whole rundown of the city. All right. Very great place to go and to study. You're close. You're close to Maryland. You're close to Northern Virginia. You're a 4 hour drive from New York City. You're like maybe a 6 hour ride from Boston. You can get to North Carolina in a couple hours. You can get to the beach in 2 hours if you want to get down the shore, 2.5 hours. So there are a lot of things that you could do out there. So, UDC, check it out. Let me know what you think. Definitely one of the safety schools that I know you could definitely get in. If you're this far, I doubt you're coming in here with some bad grades looking to get some good schools. So, UDC is definitely a school that you can get into. Check it out. Apply. Questions, comments, short speeches. Let me know what you feel about it, and we'll go. All right, thank you for watching that video. Like, comment, subscribe. Questions, comments, short speeches, put them down there. We're going to be constantly giving you more content as we go on. Probably after we're done with Washington, D.C., we're going to move to some other areas. Head down south, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. Great institutions, great cities with great people. And I think, like I mentioned before, is that there's something for everybody in these places. So don't ever think that it's not a place for you in any of these institutions. We have 4,000 of them. If you can't figure out where you can fit in 4,000 universities, then maybe there's something wrong, or maybe you need to stay in your home country. And like I said before, do your own self-evaluation. Do you feel that you're strong enough to study overseas? Do you feel that you're strong enough to to go to America and be without your family and your friends for long periods of times? 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. Are you ready for that? And you always have to look into your soul and figure out what is the best thing to do for me. No one else can tell you that. Especially if you're talking about you want to be a doctor and a lawyer, all these things, you're going to be 7, 8, 9, sometimes even 10 years outside of your home country. So you want to take that all into consideration when you're going into it. And then, of course, one of the biggest things is money. Who's going to pay for this? Because if you don't have the money, we got to figure out how we're going to get it. All right? Signing out.